Hello and welcome, fellow Wasteland survivors. I'm Dean, aka Nasty Bones, and thanks for stopping in today to check out the first episode in Fallout 4 Permadeath Challenge. Now, back a month or so ago when I found out about this challenge, I tried to do a little research to see what the rules were. Now, there were so many different ways that people were playing this or trying this that a friend of mine, Choppy, and we sat down and come up with our own set of rules of how we're going to play this. The way it's going to work is we only get one life, and we're going to play it as far as we can until we die, just like it would be in real life. Now, there are a couple of other things that we're going to do. We're going to be playing in survival mode. And I'm going to actually film or video every minute that I play. I'm just going to fast forward through all the boring parts. And then we'll go ahead and slow down for the fights and some of the different things that happen to me. Now, the reason I'm going to do the whole entire video or show the entire play is so that way people can see that I'm not cheating and going back. There's no real way that shows that you actually died. Now, what I'm going to do is every now and then refer to the Pip-Boy so we can see the stats. Let's go ahead and do that right now. What I've done is I've put 2 points into strength. I've got 1 point into perception, but I got a pair of glasses earlier, so that's giving me 2. I've got 9 in endurance, 1 in charisma, 1 in intelligence, 9 in agility, and 4 in luck. I've got 9 in agility, in endurance, because I do believe getting the health up as high as we can will be top priority. I've also got agility up all the way to 9 so I can open up blitz. What I'm going to try to do is go for a stealthy type melee build. I do believe that'll really help me out in the, first 15, 20, maybe 25 levels before I start getting a little more powerful. As we're trying to complete this challenge, we won't be using any mods or any type of thing that might help us out any. We will be playing the game the way it was intended to play. Now that means that we can use everything in the game to our disposal, such as drugs, power armor, etc. Anything that the game offers us to do, we will actually be able to use that. Now, one thing that we're not going to be doing is any type of farming. In other words, we won't be farming any legendaries throughout this play. I feel it's kind of unfair if you trap a legendary, farm it, and get a really awesome weapon right off the beginning of the game. So we won't be doing any of that. Now, there are a couple of more rules that I'd like to mention real quick. The first one being that we are able to go to any part of the game and or DLC at any time that we'd like to. There are no restrictions when we can go there. Now, as a personal challenge, I'm going to not go to any of the DLCs until I'm actually prompted by the game to go there. Alright, real quick before I get to the next rule, let's go ahead and pick up your special book. Now I'm going to put that into luck so that I can open up Idiot Servant. I did just level up, so I'm going to go ahead and place that point in there right now. We've got a lot of levels to make up, and that will only help, especially with low intelligence. Now, for the last rule I'd like to mention, it's even though crafting is a huge part of this game, we will not be using it to boost our levels. In other words, we won't be throwing down hundreds of fence posts or statues or whatever to boost our levels up. Everything that we craft or make has to be used sometime during the playthrough. So we can't make a whole bunch of unwanted or needed items to boost our level. Now, there is one more thing I'd like to mention real quick before we get started with our game strategy. And that is, just because I chose my special stats the way I did, I'm not saying it's the only way that you can complete this challenge. You could set your special stats up any way that you would like. Just depends on your style of gameplay. What I'm going to be focusing on is how we complete the quests in a way that we can get things done in a timely manner. Let's go ahead and pick up the Grognag magazine. That gives us 5% critical damage with melee or unarmed. That's going to only help us out in our build that we're trying to do right now. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and loot up all of Sanctuary the quickest that I can. Now, I'm not going to really break anything down because I may want to come back here later and build some cool stuff and want the junk around. Who knows? So I'm going to just do looting. And then I'm going to go ahead and place everything into some containers and get some food cooked. Get some, beds up. Get a water fountain up. We're going to be thirsty. There's a chem station back behind the one building, so let's get that up here. Cooked up the food, and we'll get everything put into the containers, so that way everything's nice and sorted at this point in time. Now I'm going to go ahead and get sleep in. I'm pretty tired already, even though I've been 200 years in the vault. I'm already tired. And the first objective that I'd like to do is get some melee weapons that are better than what I'm using. I'm using a baton. And just to the south of Abernathy Farms is a machete sitting on a suitcase. And that'll give me quite a bit more melee damage. We'll go ahead and pick up dog meat. We'll look Red Rocket over and trigger the mole rats. Okay, I think Red Rocket's cleared out and secure. Let's go ahead and head north. The first enemy we run into is a wild mongrel dog. Yeah, and he's actually taking a couple of hits. It's taken a little bit to get him down. But there he goes. Oh, okay, flying across the water. Hell, I'm not going to get radiated getting that meat. Well, I leveled up, so let's go ahead and put that point in. And I'm going to put our second point into big leagues. That's going to give us a little bit more melee damage, which is perfect for what we're doing. Now, the next thing is a ragstag. I do want the meat. Occasionally I get overweight carrying stuff, and, that meat only helps us carry more junk back to the house. Alright, if we turn this water pump off, we can get some caps. Also, there's our first snub-nosed 45 pistol. Also, I see some XP running around. So let's go ahead and collect that real quick. Oh yeah, Idiot Servant procking. I like it. Alright, now, a little farther north, there's going to be 3 raiders and a dog. We're going to need to take our time getting by them. We have no armor at this point, and it'd be very hard to take them down. Now, our goal is the Robotics disposal ground. Here we can find quite a few things. First thing that we'll find is our Fat Man. The second thing is the Hot Rodder magazine, which gives our armor a new paint job. All pieces painted, which are 5, will get flame job and I believe it's agility. Increases our agility wearing that. And there it is at the Robotics disposal grounds. And it's just kind of east and a little bit north of Sanctuary, as you can see right there. Now we'll go ahead and activate the Sentry Bot out front and try to collect a little XP off the mole rats that are triggered by doing that. And yeah, that's not working out. The robot is getting most of the kills. I'm overweight. I got to get that mini nuke off me. And lo and behold, what do you know? I think I'm getting attacked from behind. So we get the mini nuke off. Yep, there they are. And even dog meat's taking them down. Okay, now that the disposal grounds is cleared, a little farther to the east is a set of power armor. Also, another couple of ragstags. Now, I'm only going to get the one because the other one ran off, but it's a little bit more ragstag meat. Also, we didn't get very lucky with our power armor. It's only a head and a chest, although head pieces are kind of hard to find. Also, I self-destructed the Sentry Bot and was able to get 2 fusion cores off of him. Also, there's a steamer trunk right beside where he was at when he was dormant that had a fusion core, and so we actually now have 3 fusion cores for our power armor. Alright, let's get back to Sanctuary where we can drop our new shiny weapons off and all the meat that we picked up, plus our junk. Now, I'll take a second and go ahead and get the meat all cooked up, get a little extra XP. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is go get Preston and everybody from Concord. And when we get them back here, Sturgis is going to want me to do a bunch of things. So I want to take care of that right now. Any extra XP that I can get to help level up will be helpful. Now, I start off with the food. I can only get enough up for 4 people right now. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put some beds out. And I think that, I'll put out quite a few. I don't really need them right now, but I need the little extra XP. And so I think 11 will be okay. Now, I want to put some water out, but I'm short rubber. And as I'm looking for stuff, I get attacked by some random raiders. And this is one of the reasons why Choppy and I discussed recording every second of my gameplay. Who's to say that while I'm crafting or building that I don't get attacked and killed? So this is a great example or reason why I'm filming and videoing my entire gameplay. So that way we can see, when I really do die. And I just can't believe that already with nobody here I'm under attack. Get 'em, dog meat. Okay, she's down. Well, where there's one, there's got to be at least another. And if she attacked from the bridge, the other probably attacked. Oh, yeah, I hear gunfire. Let's see. It's probably over by the workbench. I don't see anything. Oh, there's a dead body right there. Yep, Cogsworth must have killed him. All right, well, I got a little bit of extra loot off of them. When Trash Can Carla comes here, I'll sell it to her to get some caps from her. Now I'll go ahead and place up some more water. Now I don't have enough power to run all 3 pumps. I can only run 2. But that will generate me some daily purified waters. I'll need them personally, and I can sell the extras to Trash Can Carla for extra money. We're going to need all the caps that we can get. Okay, now that I've leveled up again, we're going to put it into Blitz. That'll give us some extra melee distance. I won't have to be so close to an enemy while I'm meleeing them, especially in VATS. Okay, now let's take a second and look at our stats and how we're coming along. Level 4. Stats are building up nicely. Let's scroll down to the bottom here. I think that's where we look for it. Let's see. Quests. It has to be in stats, and it's probably on the first category in general. Let's scroll down to the bottom and look. Yep, there it is. Uh, Days survived, um, bright ideas, levels survived. It doesn't really show if you die, and but I'll still be referring to that part of the Pip-Boy here and there so we can see how we're coming along. Now, I'm not going to build anything right this minute. I'm, wanting to get questing and get going on that. But I do have a building I want to build right there. So I went ahead and built a few objects up to help me level. Now, it didn't quite level me up, but it did give me quite a bit of XP before I headed out. Now, on the way to Concord, we're going to run into a couple of blood bugs. They were actually pretty easy to take down. I one-shotted them. I am wearing the power armor. We have got, a few points in our melee categories. So we are doing some pretty decent damage right now. But I want to do a little more. So I'm actually going to put our new level up point into Bloody Mess. That'll give us an extra 10% damage in everything that we do. Right after we've killed all the raiders and we have our little talk with Preston, on the desk beside Sturgis we'll find our second video game that we can play on our Pip-Boy, Robco Fun. It's just on the table right there, right beside the terminal. Let's take a look at it on the map, and you can see that it's located in Concord at the Museum of Freedom. That's where Preston and his gang are held up right now. It's just a little bit southeast of Sanctuary. Also in the same room we'll find our first bobblehead, the Perception bobblehead. Now I don't have any points in Perception, so this will actually put us at 2. I am wearing a set of glasses that give us Perception, but as long as we're in the power armor, those stats don't count. Once we've made the roof, I go ahead and take all the power armor pieces off the frame, put them on the frame I'm wearing, and leave that frame there. I'll come back and get it later on. Now, let's go ahead and clear the path for Preston and the gang. Okay, now that Grizzle, his gang, and the Deathclaw are now all dead, I can do a little light looting. By the way, Grizzle has a Corvega storage key on him, which will actually be pretty helpful a little bit later on in the game. Now get back, tell Preston and everybody that the Deathclaw is dead. They're going to argue a little bit, and then we're going to get heading to Sanctuary. Now I'll do a little bit of light looting on the way back. Not going to do a whole lot. I'll come back here later or at another time and loot this whole area. My main objective is to get back to Sanctuary as quickly as I can. Preston and everybody can find their own way here. You don't actually have to follow them. What I'm going to do is drop all the loot off, everything I've picked up, and we're going to go ahead and work on our power armor. What I want to do is go ahead and repair everything and mod it to the highest level it can be, which I can actually make Bs right now. So I've got T45 Bs. Plus, I'll go ahead and put the paint job on it so we have the extra agility as well. Now, I'll go ahead and talk to Preston a little bit, and he'll give me a quest to send me to Ten Pines Bluff to talk to them. And as I'm getting prepared, once again, I'm being attacked at Sanctuary. So, kudos that I'm recording this, because this is just another opportunity where I could have died. And if you put it on pause on parts of the game you're not playing, this could have happened and you could die. And there would be no way to ever really know that other than my word for it. So I'll go ahead and loot all that up. I did get a little bit more food, so we got up enough for 5 people now. And we'll get a night's sleep, get rested up, and ready to go. We've got a big day ahead of us. But first, I'll go ahead and turn in all the quests that I did earlier to Sturgis and get the XP for that. And because of doing that, we level up one more time. We now have 2 points to put into our perk tree. We did level up in Concord just before we killed the Deathclaw. So with our 2 points, I do believe that we'll put the first one into Scrounger. We are going to have a couple of dungeons that we're going to be doing here shortly, and the extra ammo will only help feed our guns, keep them happy, and give us a little extra to sell to try to boost our caps. The second point I'm going to put into Sneak. I do believe that that's a good one to get going with. We're going to start running into mines and stuff, and I definitely want to get our sneak up as we go. Now, we are level 7, and Big Leagues is now open to us. But we'll go ahead and put our next level up point into that. And here's our stats. We've got, looks like days survived 2, levels survived 6, bright ideas 14. We're looking pretty good. Idiot Servant has been kicking in fairly decent. And we'll go ahead and get ready to go to Starlight Drive-In is our next objective. But before we get there, I want to take a second and clean out this cave underneath Red Rocket. Now, before the war, they used to store illegal nuclear waste and materials down here. But it has quite a bit of lootable objects and a few mole rats that we can get some more XP and get our adrenaline up. Also, there's a safe in here and another fusion core. So with this fusion core, we'll now total out to have 4. So I'll collect all this, gather it up, and we've got a nice chunk of loot that isn't too far away from where we're heading off to. Now, on our way to Starlight Drive-In, we're going to run into Carla. Now, I didn't think about this before I left Sanctuary, but I could have brought a bunch of stuff and sold her. So we had very little items to sell. Now, our next stop is Tina's place just before we get to Starlight Drive-In. and there's a couple of raiders giving her hell out front. Her son's a drug addict. These are the guys that sold it to her, or sold it to him. They owe him money, he owes them money, something, whatever. So we're just going to go ahead, kick Wolfgang's ass and Simone's as well. Once again, we're getting more XP and also increasing our adrenaline. Now, while I was doing this, I hear some guns shooting in the distance. And I take a look, and it's Super Mutants and a Mr. Gutsy. And the Mr. Gutsy is legendary. At level 7, we've found our first legendary enemy. But I do believe that the Mr. Gutsy is going to be way too hard to take down without, a high probability of dying. So we're just going to let our first legendary walk away. Now, as we get a little closer to Starlight Drive-In, we're going to run into a blood bug. We're going to go ahead, once again, a little more XP, some meat, building our adrenaline up, and I'm just going to go ahead and loot all of Starlight Drive-In. There's a couple of enemies here we got to kill, this rad roach being one of them, but also there is another fusion core sitting on one of the shelves. With that fusion core, we're now up to, I believe, 5 fusion cores, counting the one that's in the power armor that's almost ready to be drained. So once we drain that, then we'll be down to 4. But now all we need to do is go ahead and clear out the rest of the mole rats. By clearing all the enemies away from this location is how we're able to actually become aligned with this settlement. Okay, I think that's about all the mole rats. Now let's take a second and clear the area of any explosives. There is a makeshift bomb that is attached to the door of this diner. Also, once in a while, there is a bottle cap mine setting on the counter. There wasn't this time, but sometimes there is. We want to take a second, drop all the items off that we've collected since we left Sanctuary, and put up a few resources. Clean water and a bed. Now, I know we were building up our adrenaline, but I think a save is what we need. The trip to Corvega and around that we're going to take is a very long road, and we might as well just get a save in right now in case the game crashes. Well, I do believe that that's all for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate you guys stopping in and hanging out with me today. At this point, I've got about 3 hours of gameplay in. We're taking a quick look at our stats before I sign out. They're pretty much the same as when we left Sanctuary. And I'm just going to go ahead and save and quit right here. And when we start the next video up, it'll be from that point. Okay, everybody, once again, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And just like always, until next time, please stay safe and peace.